So we're going to talk now about the anatomy of the skin. And that coloring page, remember, you're going to have a quiz on that next week. This weekend, I want you to make sure that you have completed in your notebook up through pages 48. I will be stamping notebooks on Monday up through pages 48.
Right now, are we writing on pages?
Right now, you're writing on page 46 because 46 should have the anatomy of the skin. So the skin is divided into two layers, the epidermis and the dermis. And the epidermis is the layer that you find on top. And the epidermis is thinner than the dermis. A little bit about the root words here. Derm, let me put that in white. Okay, derm means skin, and epi means upper. So epidermis literally means upper skin. And as we read in the description on the coloring page of the skin, the thickness of the skin can vary quite drastically. The thinnest skin on your body is your eyelids, with as little as 4 cell layers thick of epidermis. 4 cell layers. To being hundreds of cell layers thick if you look at your heel, which has heavy calluses. The type of tissue it is, we looked at when we did our histology unit. It's stratified squamous epithelium. And I hope that you remember that when we looked at the stratified squamous epithelium, we always saw in epithelial tissue that there was a thicker basement membrane and then a surface, an apical surface that was not attached to anything, right? Does that sound familiar? Mm-hmm. And the cells in the layers didn't start to look like stratified squamous epithelium until you got to the very surface layer. They look different at the bottom layers. Bye, guys. So we're going to look at why that occurs. That even if this is all epidermis here, okay, that this whole structure here of epidermis starts off as looking like one type of cell, but as they move up towards the apical surface, the cells change in appearance. And we're going to learn what all the different layers are called. The layer below the epidermis is the dermis. And this is where you have your nerve endings, your blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, and things like that. Okay? All right. This slide, I wish I had typed it in a different order. This slide lists the layers with the bottom layer is listed first and the top layer is listed last. Okay? So the bottommost layer of the epidermis, and again, this is all talking about just epidermis. The bottommost layer is called the Stratum Germinativum. It is also called the Stratum basale, which means base layer. To germinate means to sprout. So what is sprouting from this layer?
Hair.
Not hair. New cells. Okay? So your epidermis is going to grow continuously from this layer. Okay? This is where we have new cell growth from the process of mitosis. Do you remember mitosis? Okay, cell reproduction. So it's the stratum basale or the stratum germinativum. That's the sprouting layer. It's the growth layer where new cells are constantly growing and they're always moving up towards the surface. They're getting pushed up. as cells in the bottom, at the very bottom layer against the basement membrane go through mitosis, the older cells get pushed up, up, up. As the cells get to the surface, as they approach the surface, they get filled with this tough waterproof protein called keratin. And at this point, the cells here are dead. And because they're dead, they continuously flake off the body. Most of the dust in your house is dead skin cells.
Thank you for telling me that.
Yes. So have you ever been like sitting and the sunlight comes in and it hits it just a way that you can see stuff floating in the air?
Yeah.
Most of that stuff, that dust, is dead skin cells from you and your family. That's what dust is, dead skin cells. So next time you see that, take your hands. I did it the other day in my car. It was pretty cool. Take your hands and rub them back and forth together and then clap them like that. And you'll see stuff like fly around you, and it's your dead skin cells. Yes?
What about the dust behind the TV?
Okay, dust on your furniture is just particles that have fallen and come to rest on a surface. It's not just dead skin cells, but it could be, I know that when the wind blows and the Santa Anas blow, my house gets more dusty. Well, what's in the air? It's blowing pollen from the desert. That's why we get a lot of allergies when the Santa Anas blow, because all this pollen and dirt and literally little flecks of dirt are blowing in the air, and it irritates our mucous membranes, right? And our immune systems sometimes overreact to things that aren't really dangerous. Pollen grains aren't going to cause us any harm, but our immune systems react and respond to them like, oh my God, it's the worst thing ever. And you have an over-exaggerated immune response, which is what an allergic reaction is. No, dust is not bacteria. It could have some bacteria, but most bacteria is not airborne. We get sick not from things in the air. We get sick from everything that we touch. Okay, so the stratum corneum is the topmost. It says outermost, but think of topmost. It's on the top. And so when you feel like, oh, my skin's so dry, and when my skin gets dry, I don't really look ashy, but it looks kind of crinkly. When you put lotion on it, what you're doing is you're adding moisture to the surface of your skin and kind of rehydrating it and smoothing it down. But when my skin gets really, really dry, no matter how much lotion I put on, it's not going to help. I need to hydrate from the inside. So you need to drink extra water. The best things you can do for your skin are wear sunscreen and drink lots of water. The main reason our skin wrinkles and ages and discolors with time is because of all of the ultraviolet radiation that we've come in contact with. Yes, Belen? Dark spots on your face are age spots, and it's hyperpigmentation from UV radiation. Arturo? What about lotion?
Like, doesn't it also like help with your skin the way sunscreen can later on in life? Or does it just make your skin?
Well, no amount of, there are lotions that you can use that will help to keep your skin very hydrated, and hydrated skin looks less wrinkly, but you want to, as long as you're exfoliating and getting most of the dead skin cells off the surface of your skin, revealing the more youthful living skin cells underneath, that's what exfoliating is all about. There are lotions that can help to hydrate your skin, but really it's having a healthy diet and drinking lots of water and having healthy skin from the inside out. Okay, yes?
What about freckles?
Freckles are genetic and a result of spots of extra pigmentation from exposure to UV radiation. Because you don't get freckles on places that aren't exposed to sun. But it is genetic, and they usually fade with time. Okay. So I'm going to go to the next slide, because this is where we're going to learn the layers of the skin in their order. And this is the top layer. You can either draw the cells or you can just write the names. Okay, but this is the top layer. And this is the stratum corneum. These are where the cells are keratinized. And they're dead. Underneath it is the stratum lucidum. And these cells have, they're clear on the inside. That's why they're called the stratum lucidum. They're lucid means clear. The stratum granulosum has granules inside of it. And that's not how you spell it. So they have a granular appearance to their cytoplasm. Stratum spinosum have spiny appearance to the cells. And then the stratum basale is also known as the germinativum, right? Why do we call these stratum? Because it all means layers. So the cornified layer, the lucid layer, the clear layer, the granular layer, the spiny layer, the base layer. All of this is epithelial tissue. It's all epithelium, right? Oh, I'm sorry, not epithelium. Gosh, epidermis. I'm okay, really. Having problems again today, huh? Dermis. So below the basement membrane layer, that's where we would have dermis. So I don't want to run out of time here before I tell you how you're going to remember the order of these layers. Okay? And this is where our mnemonic device comes in. Okay? So if you can remember this phrase, share, likes, getting, skin, Botoxed. You know, Botox is that paralytic that they will inject and it makes your wrinkles go away. Okay? So share, likes, getting, skin, Botoxed. That will help you to remember corneum, lucidum, granulosum, spinosum, basale. And I hope you guys know who Cher is.
There are two shares.
There's only one Cher. No. No. There is one Cher. And I think she's the first one that was an artist that had one name. She's just Cher. Cher was way before Prince, way before Madonna, way before Pink. Cher started at the age of 17 in the 60s. Okay? And so she is in her 70s now. And she's had a lot of Botox, not to mention other things. So I'm pausing here. I have pictures of Cher in case you don't know who she is. She first started out with her husband. They sang duets together, Sonny and Cher. I got you, babe. I got you, babe. Yeah. And then she had hosted a variety show way back in the 70s. I remember watching it, the Sonny and Cher show. Yes, at a television show that was on every week. And they'd come out and sing. I'm still recording. Are you playing, Cher? Yeah. What song are you playing? Oh. Do you believe in life after love?
Oh, that one, yeah, I remember.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If I could turn back time. Yep. You guys know Cher? Yeah.
What is that? What is that last word say? Stratum?
Germinativum?
Excuse me?
Germinativum?
Can you spell that real quick?
Germinativum.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you talk. Can you repeat it again?
Germinativum. So to germinate is to sprout. So the base layer is your germinating layer. So as this layer creates new cells through mitosis, and then another new layer cell these cells are pushed up and up and up until they get so far away from the blood vessels down here in the dermis that they die. They're filled with keratin. Oh my God. Everyone enjoy. This is fourth period. And they die and they eventually get sloughed off. Okay? Okay, so this is where we're going to end our lecture for today.
Bye. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel and watch this video over. Just play it like on repeat all night long so I get to that 10,000 views and I start making some money, right?
Show everybody.
Tell all your friends that like anatomy to watch.